I'm not taking any of you out of survival mode.
If you want me to be submissive, you gotta take me out of survival mode. Period. A real man wouldn't even say nothing like that.
That's the stupidest shit floating around the internet right now.
It's only stupid because you're not a real man.
When you pick a man, do you look for a leader?
Yeah, but what they gotta do with anything?
What if that man told you in order for him to be a leader, you had to take him out of bitch mode?
What's going on, ladies? This is your boy Say One's History. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be updated for all cool new content that's coming out. Look, I'm not going to hold you guys. We are going to get straight into it. What am I talking about here? Well, it's that awful conversation that women are having amongst themselves all the time. That crazy phrase that men are just tired of hearing, which is they don't need a man. And look, I'm not here to argue that with women today. But what I am here to do is give you a different perspective. You see what I did there? Anyway, the perspective is you may not actually need a man, but you do want his cover. And I want to talk about that because it's almost like using that analogy of, when you're laying in bed, you have that nice, comfortable, warm cover. And, the woman comes and lays by you and you're all nice and you're already comfortable in there because you went to sleep before her. And then she wants to lay next to you and put her cold hands on you so she can get warmed up and so she can feel comfortable. Well, that is I don't want to say literal, but that is the analogy, the perspective that I'm actually going to be using today. And I want to break it down a little bit for you on what a man's cover is. Now, what is a man's cover? Well, a man's cover is like a weightless, waterproof, fireproof, shock-resistant blanket that you never even realize is there until you step outside its protection. And women say it all the time that they don't need a man, and that may be true at this present moment. But life is not a sprint, it's a marathon, and I promise you, if you give life time, it will humble you. It will humble everyone. A man's cover is the foundation that he's established for his life, but shares with a woman when he's either in a serious relationship or married. His cover can look like financial stability, discipline in multiple facets of life, stable living arrangements, for example, the purchase of a home, medical benefits, emotional support, and most of all, the ability to take care of himself, kids, and his woman in the event that life requires him to. In the event that life requires him to. Now, I said that specifically because there are times when men will actually need a break. They may get injured at work. They may have some mental issues that they need to work through, whatever the case may be. But ladies, this is what you were designed for, to be the helpmate. And what is a helpmate? Helping a man to take care of the things that he could either not get to in that particular day, or if you guys are striving to do something, big, then you are going to help foster that dream as long as you two believe in that dream together. That is what a woman's, dare I say, role is. And I don't say it to be disrespectful or to demean women. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying is that when you have a woman that is stepping into her role as a helpmate, it allows the man to do what he's good at and allows the woman to do what she's good at. Prime example, the man is there to take the majority of the load. Generally speaking, this is what a man normally does. He is, and look, we hear this conversation all the time about 50-50, okay? But the reality of it is men are not doing 50-50. It's usually somewhere like, 65-35, 75-25, somewhere around like that, where the man's taking on the majority of the load. I mean, let's just keep it all the way real. I don't even think we should call it the 50-50 debate. We should really be calling it the 65-35 or 75-25 debate. That's what it really should be. And to me, it just feels like if women are arguing about that and feeling like, they should get more, like, come on, it's ridiculous. I mean, we are going to do what we need to do to actually take care of the majority of the bulk of the bills and the responsibility. And like I said, the cover that a man provides, because he's already established this for himself. And when you come into the picture, he is therefore going to share it. We already know that we're supposed to do this. So, it just seems a little ridiculous to men when women say that they want a man to take care of all the bills.
Men on the flip side don't want a woman that's saying, I don't need you. Ooh, I make my own money, so what do I need you for?
But wait, can I ask you a question? What is the problem with I don't need you to function in my life, but I do desire you. I do love you. I do want you, but I do not need you to
Oh, SD, what's up, SD? So you talking that up on the humble, okay, because that's and a lot of times I don't even fall in line with the traditional conversation, but like that's not how that badge gets worn.
Okay, how does
that
it
badge
get worn?
doesn't get worn as I don't need you, but I love you. It's I don't need you because you triggered something in me that validated what I thought about y'all all along.
This conversation is interesting to me, and I just thought of something, and I don't even think a lot of men and women out there even realize this, and that is that we're not even, like, in real life, we're not even having this conversation directly. This conversation is usually being had more indirectly. What I mean by that is that women are not telling or coming up to men usually saying that they don't need a man. It is usually in their actions. It is usually in their demeanor. It's usually when a man, tries to lay down some type of authority or has some type of boundaries, and the woman says, well, I don't want to deal with that.
I'm not taking any of you out of survival mode.
If you want me to be submissive, you got to take me out of survival mode. Period. A real man wouldn't even say nothing like that.
That's the stupidest shit floating around the internet right now.
It's only stupid because you're not a real man.
When you pick a man, do you look for a leader?
Yeah, but what they got to do with anything?
What if that man told you in order for him to be a leader, you had to take him out of bitch mode?
I wouldn't date him because what?
You want a man to be a leader when you meet him, right?
Yeah.
Then you should automatically be submissive when he meets you, like you want him to be a leader when you meet him.
It's giving controlling.
You want to pick and choose when to be submissive, but he has to be a leader at all times?
You twisted her words up.
Ma'am, do you want a man to be a leader at all times?
Yep, I sure do.
And do you want to be submissive at all times?
It depends.
You were saying.
Well, I mean, like,
if there are 3 men who lead to the left and 3 men who don't lead to the right, where would you go?
I mean, to the left, duh.
If there were 3 women that didn't require men to take them out of survival mode to the left and 3 that did to the right, what would a man pick?
I mean, but it ain't really like...
I don't need a man. I'm a strong, independent woman.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm smiling because when I see this, there's one thing I think of here, and it's really is ego.
I got a big ego, ha ha ha, oh, such a big ego.
I see ego when I'm looking at this because, and look, there are instances where, this woman could have just been putting up her cabinet by herself, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely fine. I don't have any issues with that, and dare I say, I don't think you would find a man who would have any issues with that as well, if you just want to do it on your own. But with that being said, there's an underlying topic here that we really need to discuss, and that is when women realize that they've made a mistake or realize that they're wrong, their ego doesn't allow them to come back and admit wrong or fault or guilt. Facts. It doesn't allow them to admit that. They feel like they would rather take that to the grave. And a lot of women do stuff like this in very serious circumstances, like either in a serious relationship or, i.e., a marriage. And what they end up doing is they leave these long-term relationships or marriages, usually realizing that they made a mistake or having second thoughts in their mind or, having a lot of concerns or dealing with a lot of different things that they didn't used to have to deal with because they were under the man's cover. And like I said, it's one of those things where you don't realize the benefits of a man's cover until it's gone.
Strong, independent woman. I can do anything and I don't need you.
A few moments later.
What do you want?
Can you help me open this?
What do you say?
Thank you.
This is funny to me, you guys, because, this is not something that I think a woman can't do. I think that a woman is absolutely capable of doing little things like this, a DIY or actually taking something out of the box and putting it together. I just don't think that they want to do it. This would actually tie into one of those responsibilities that a man would actually do or take care of here. And it's just not something that women want to do, especially if they have a man that can actually take care of this themselves here. This, again, is one of those things where you're under a man's cover and you just don't have to worry about it until you're out of it.
I'll be the first to say, like, no, I would like someone to make sure that my windshield wipers are good. I would like for someone to be able to change my oil. I would like for someone to be able to provide. I get it. I'm sure they would like a more feminine woman. And I have to learn how to let go of that masculinity a little bit. Because I don't know how to let go of control. And I think that's the problem with a lot of women.
Boy, she hit it on the nail. She says she don't know how to let go of control. She also says she didn't know how to be feminine. And also, it's all an even trade. She said, I'm pretty sure he would like someone who was more feminine. Absolutely. That's one of the key essential things that a man is looking for in a woman. He wants her to be feminine, but you want him to, be 6 feet tall. You want him to make $250,000 a year. You want him to be handsome. You want him to be all this. And a man is saying, I just want peace.
Are we negotiating?
I believe we are.
Parlay.
And if I have to be that man to go out and do all these things, to be able to attract you, well, are you really worth it?
So why is it so hard for so many women to simply allow and not to control? Ladies, if you find yourself in absolute panic, if you find yourselves in exhaustion and overwhelm and burnout, if you're not controlling the outcome of everything in your life, it's a strong indication that you are in your wounded masculine energy. For control is a wounded masculine energetic. And where does over controlling everything in your life come from? Trying to control everything is a result of trying to protect yourself from further harm.
That's absolutely true. Women, they gain this control freak sensation because they've been hurt before.
This is all my fault.
No. Because they've dealt with men who didn't have their best interest at hand. And I hate to say it, ladies, I really do, but it's a lot of women I've been hearing online where they say, oh, all I hear is men telling us to choose better and pick better and all this stuff. And I really, when I say this, I really want women out there to hear what I'm saying.
Well, listen to me now, yourself.
Because when men say you need to pick better, women naturally go on the defense. And there's nothing wrong with that. You defend, I get it. I understand. But let me break it down what men are genuinely saying when they say that you need to pick better. And I want you to hear this. This is no shade. It's no disrespect or anything like that to the women, to all the 2 women that watch my channel.
You and me, forever.
What they are saying is the qualities that you are looking for in a man are not beneficial and do not equate to what you want in a husband.
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
The desires that you want from a man, for him to be 6 feet tall, for him to make $250,000, for him to have a 6-pack, for him to be 6 inches, for him to be handsome, for him to have all this stuff. That's an Adonis. All women want him. And because all women want that particular man, he is desired. And because he is desired, he's going to have options and pick. And women, a lot of times, with their preferences and their choices, they can't help but to pick these men.
Dude gets caught cheating on his girl.
Sometimes they don't even think the man that they're going for is in this category. But I can tell you, the men that you're going for are normally in that category. And this is why men say you may have to lower your standards a little bit. Not saying that you have to lower the quality of the man as who he is, because what men are saying, no, raise your standards for the quality of who the man is. We're talking about lower your standards for the quality of the aesthetics. Of the aesthetics of a man. Because those things will get you the things that you don't want. And the things that you desire in the husband, if you focus on those, that will get you the desire that you need.
Hey, ladies.
Ladies and gentlemen, emphasis on the ladies. This is an illustration of hypergamy at its finest here. And, this is also an illustration of the man as well, too. At least good man, in my opinion. Because she talked about being able to go up another level, but not being able to go back down. And that holds true for a lot of men, because good men that are out there that are established, well-to-do, taking care of themselves. I'm not talking about the upper echelon man, just the average man. Those men have standards about themselves. Those men have a certain, mystique or feeling or, respect for themselves, where they're just not going to go back if a woman wants to leave. They're going to be like, hey, fine, I'll go and do my own thing, because they understand what they're bringing. And I think that was one part of the illustration that she was trying to give. And then, of course, the most important part is that hypergamy, ladies, sometimes you just need to, I know it's your nature, but sometimes you really just need to just bring it down a notch and say, you know what? This man is doing a lot for me. He may not be everything I want, but he's everything I need.
You cannot protect what you cannot control. Wait now. Sisters, when I use the word control, that makes you upset sometimes because you don't want nobody to control you. But no man can protect what he cannot control. Now, you don't have to be a control freak because she has a right to rebel against ignorance that masquerades itself in the form of a controller. I gotta set a balance here. Otherwise, after this lecture's over, some nut is gonna go home and say, see, I got to control what's going on up in here. But I say this, a woman will submit to you that allows them to see it, and they submit to it, then the wisdom is the controlling influence, not you personally.
He said the wisdom is the controlling force. The wisdom is the controlling force. Now, I want to break this down a little bit for you guys because, ladies, this is for you right here. This is a masterclass on what you should be looking for when it actually comes to a good man.
He's cooking our garbage.
The God in him is telling you, babe, I need you to do this or take care of this, or no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do this today. Like, his wisdom is telling you this. The God in him is telling you this. And you always can tell because you have those men who will use things that the minister or the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is saying, and they will literally go home and say, you heard what the minister said. I'm in control and you need to listen to me. No, he's generally speaking, men that are trying to correct, that are trying to build with you, that are trying to fix the issue, they are going to correct, they are going to lead, they are going to take charge in a way of such where they are talking to you logically and not talking through you, not demanding it, but also allowing it to be just naturally given. But sometimes, a lot of times, even so, because women have not seen in the home what it is to give up authority and to give up power, regardless of how a man comes at them, it's still difficult for them to give that power up. Even if it's God that's asking for it, or at the bare minimum, the God inside the man that's asking for it.
A reckless woman is a woman that has no control over what comes out of her mouth. Because what's coming out of her mouth is really coming from her heart. And this is where a lot of women go wrong. They talk.
I have to stop it right there. She said that what is coming out of a woman's mouth is coming out of her heart. And sometimes when a woman is coming and speaking from her heart, she speaks passionately. And just because she's speaking passionately doesn't necessarily mean that she is correct.
That nigga got a point.
I'll give you a perfect example of this. I remember one day I was talking to my father in the house about a movie. And this movie I just knew it had Cuba Gooding Jr. in it. And my father, he looked at me and he said, son, Cuba Gooding Jr. is not in that movie. And I knew it was. And I said, man, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm telling you, Cuba Gooding Jr. is in this movie. I love this movie. I watched it. I'm like, he's in this movie. I know he's in this movie. I was so passionate about it. And he politely put the video on and he read the credits. And it showed me that Cuba Gooding Jr. was not in that movie.
Damn! I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It was somebody who looked like Cuba Gooding Jr., but it wasn't Cuba Gooding Jr. And I got a little hasty and I told him before I found out that it wasn't Cuba Gooding Jr. that I would pick all these prickly leaves from the rock bed if it wasn't Cuba Gooding Jr. And it was almost like he had won the lottery.
Gotcha, bitch!
Because he knew it was something that was factual. And ladies, that's the same conversation that a lot of men are having with you. A lot of times you're so passionate about something and you just know you're right, but it is not factual. It is not based in logic. And because you're thinking and you're expressing yourself from your heart, you feel like the other person is wrong. But if you think about it just logically for a second, you might have a difference in opinion.
When you guard your heart, it's as if you're building a fence over your heart so that offense cannot come in, so that disappointment cannot come in, so that you will not be let down. The moment us ladies, when our feelings are hurt, or when we're offended, or when we're in a very emotional state, we talk so recklessly.
Women are more likely to be aggressive and physically violent towards men in relationships. There was a study done a couple years ago that found that women have a stronger desire than men to be controlling in a relationship. The women in this study openly admitted to first being emotionally abusive, followed up by physically abusive, and that women needed to significantly be in more control than men, which ultimately perpetuated violence or aggression from both sexes. Meaning that because she's being aggressive and using aggressive force, he ultimately reacted. And out of 50% of those men in this study, they ended up with some kind of police record or in jail, or the consequences were much higher for the men in these kind of relationships than they were for the women, even though the women initiated the aggression.
Look, this is why older men like myself say, if you're in a relationship like that as a man, to get out. Because if a woman is arguing, nagging, and is violent and physically violent with you here, as a man, generally speaking, that she can't really hurt you if you wanted to hurt her. And because of that, we usually try to play it cool. We usually try to be respectful, try to walk out. We don't want to get into a situation with a woman where it becomes violent and we have to defend ourselves, because as a man, we're going to be wrong. But when it comes to women in this trigger response that they actually have to being hurt, it's again this peacocking. And because they're peacocking and because they want to feel like they're dominant, because they don't want to give up the power, it ultimately causes issues like this. And I hear a lot of women say, this kind of ties into the passport bro and why men are leaving and going their own way in MGTOW and all that stuff. Men are essentially doing it because of women like this. Look, I was talking to one of my friends today, and she was asking me like, why men are actually leaving and, what's the whole big deal and whatever not behind it. And I said, look, the thing is men will actually identify who you are within the first 10 to 15 minutes of him actually having a real genuine conversation with you. He'll look at your demeanor. He'll look at your femininity. He'll look at the way you talk, if you flirt with other guys, and he can tell, generally speaking, within a matter of like a couple of minutes, if you're somebody that he even wants to deal with. Now, that can mean wanting to deal with on a serious level, and if you're just somebody he wants to actually just kind of like casually date or, just have some fun with, then he may actually, deal with a little bit more to get what he wants to get. But ultimately will leave once he's gotten what he wants. And ladies, you just have to understand, you have to realize here, you have to pay attention that when you are acting like this, you are representing yourself, and a man is seeing it from a mile away. And because we are seeing this, men are genuinely, the reason why they're leaving, she asked why they're leaving, it's because of the potential of, the physical harm it may cause him, the potential of the legal issues that it may cause him, the potential of the stress and turmoil that it may cause him. This is why men are actually leaving.
She always been the type of woman to get with guys and control them. When she finally get a guy like you, okay, who really loves himself, you're a gentleman, you know how to treat a woman. When she finally get with you, that might be cool and all, but at the end of the day, in the back of her mind, she's thinking, how can I have the upper hand in this relationship? She's a man woman because of the bitterness and the resentment that she has because of her troubles that she's went through in her life that she's not yet healed. So when she get with you, bro, she gonna start the games up. This is all manipulation at its finest, folks. She wants you to be her little Fido, her little Ruffy, her little Fluffy, her little Chihuahua. And if you a Great Dane, if you a pit bull, she like, no, I don't want a guy like that. I don't like you.
If you are a man woman, it's not that we are intimidated by you. We recognize the stress that you come with, and we're staying away from it. And I'm sure women do that on the other side of the spectrum as well, too, with men. But listen, you have to hear where a man is coming from on this. The reason he does this to a woman is because she is out of alignment. What I'm trying to say is that if you give a little, you will get exponentially way more than what you gave. Now, you guys, I have so many videos in regards to this topic today, and I want to really talk about this one here because it goes into, what men are attracted to. We know what women are attracted to, but a lot of times we don't talk about what men are attracted to. So I want to tell you, generally speaking, because there's a lot of things as far as when it comes to physical looks that men are attracted to, and it can vary. But when it comes to qualities within the qualities within a woman that we're looking for, they're generally speaking the same for men. So ladies, take notes, listen to this, and then also give yourself a genuine evaluation.
A masculine man will never be attracted to a controlling, critical woman. The masculine needs to feel respected and appreciated for his strength. But a controlling woman robs him of that. He needs a partner to be his equal, not a mother who treats him like a child. Constant criticism will chip away at the intimacy and the connection in the relationship because her hostility puts him in defense mode. If she's controlling how much freedom he has, it will result in a lack of love, respect, and trust, all of which are essential for the masculine to stay true to his God-given purpose to protect and provide for the feminine.
Facts. I'm not even going to go into too much. She said what she said, and she said it, and I wholeheartedly agree with her. There was no lies detected. Let's keep going. I wanted to just take a moment and acknowledge the women that I'm actually showing you in these videos today, because as much as we talk about, women always saying that they don't need a man, I thought about it, that these women right here are the very women that men are actually talking about, saying that, hey, we need more women that are like this, or we want more women that are like this. Well, these women are essentially the cheerleaders for, those things that men are aspiring to have in women. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge their growth, acknowledge their understanding, and also to let them know that we appreciate them for those women that are out there. So with that being said, let's let her cook.
How many of your decisions in your marriage as a wife are rooted in selfishness and control and you having complete disregard for your husband? And I really want you to think about this before you answer. How often are you making decisions that are only based on your input, that are only based on the turnout and the way that it will work out for you? And I think that we should consider this, and we should start talking about this, because I think what happens sometimes is we get married and now we think that we are the mother of these men, and we start to assume this role of I know what's best, and we forget that in your marriage you're supposed to submit to your husband, right? And it's not to say that you shouldn't have any input. It's not even to say that he shouldn't consult you on what should be done and what shouldn't be done. But it is to say that some of us aren't.
I have to pause it for a second there too, because again, I hear these phrases and these certain words that people are saying. For instance, like submission, or a woman is supposed to submit, or, let a man take the lead or something like that. And these are very triggering words for women. And I always want to come back and say, yes, these are things that men are looking for. These are things that men are expecting women to do. But in that same token, they're not saying that they're not going to give you something back. They're not saying they're not going to listen, because they are going to listen. They're going to take your wise counsel. They're going to usually agree with you the majority of the time. But they're saying that, allow me to take this lead. This is my role as a man. This is what I was made for, partially made to do, to lead, to be, that person, to have a man, to be a man that's purposeful in life here. So, that's genuinely what men are saying. And like, we have to get away from this immediate trigger response and this immediately response, that you initially just want to go at the man because he's saying something that's triggering you. We have to get away from that initial response and just take a moment, chill out, just calm down, and just listen to what he has to say. I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, if you're with a man who appreciates you, who respects you, and you actually allow him to speak, he's going to be more receptive to listen to anything you say. And he's a lot of these issues that these people are going through in these relationships, they're usually self-inflicted. I really appreciate you guys for watching the video all the way through. But if you can do me a little itty bitty favor and hit that subscribe button, it would really help if you hit the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. So thank you in advance. Appreciate it.